お休み前に英語で国内ニュースの時間です。今日の話題を英語でどうぞ。
U.S.-Iran talks in Islamabad failed on April 12th. Vice President Vance stated Iran rejected U.S. conditions, including not making nuclear weapons. This puts a 2-week ceasefire at risk. Iran's media reported U.S. excessive demands caused the breakdown. The Hormuz Strait and Iran's nuclear program were major disagreements, casting a shadow over peace.
Police in Oita Prefecture arrested 58-year-old Tadabumi Himino for allegedly abandoning a body in the mountains in early March. Authorities are investigating a possible connection to a missing teenage girl from the prefecture. Himino admitted to abandoning an unidentified body and hinted at murder, though the body has not yet been found.
Los Angeles Dodgers player Shohei Ohtani hit a home run and recorded 2 hits and 1 RBI against the Rangers. This extended his on-base streak to 45 games, setting a new record for the longest streak by a Japanese player in Major League Baseball. He continues to impress with his consistent performance.
Russia and Ukraine reported violations of their temporary Easter ceasefire. Ukraine's military staff accused Russia of repeatedly breaking the truce on April 11th, reporting approximately 470 violations, including airstrikes and drone attacks. Both nations claimed the other side breached the agreement, casting doubt on the ceasefire's effectiveness.
China's Central Taiwan Affairs Office announced preferential measures for Taiwan on April 12th. This follows a visit by the leader of Taiwan's largest opposition party, the KMT. The new policies aim to boost imports of Taiwanese agricultural and aquatic products and resume direct flights between China and Taiwan, fostering economic cooperation.
The U.S. military announced on April 11th it began setting conditions for mine removal in the Strait of Hormuz. 2 U.S. warships passed through as part of a mission to clear mines, possibly laid by Iran. Commander Cooper stated new, safe shipping lanes would be established. President Trump also posted about the mine-clearing operation commencing.
Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued a warning on April 11th, stating it would take strong action against any warships attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian media reported that only non-military vessels are permitted passage under specific rules. This comes amidst rising tensions in the region.
CNN reported on April 10th that China is preparing to supply air defense systems to Iran within weeks. Sources suggest China may use a third country to hide the origin. On April 11th, President Trump warned that if China proceeds, it would face big problems. The systems are reportedly shoulder-fired portable missiles.
Prime Minister Takaichi announced at the Liberal Democratic Party convention her full commitment to policies that divide national opinion. These include economic and fiscal policy changes and strengthening intelligence functions. She pledged to lead the party to victory in next spring's unified local elections, emphasizing her leadership role.
Japan's Ministry of Education will investigate Doshisha Educational Corporation after a fatal boat accident in Henoko, Okinawa on March 16th. A Doshisha International High School field trip boat overturned, killing a student and the captain. The ministry will examine safety management and educational content, including past trip guides that promoted participation in anti-base protests.
次は社会のニュースです。
The Liberal Democratic Party's convention in Tokyo announced a new vision for its 70th anniversary. The party stated that constitutional amendment is critically important. This reflects the party's strong focus on revising the Constitution as a key policy goal to shape Japan's future.
Jehovah's Witnesses and 20 members are suing the Japanese government in Tokyo. They claim new guidelines on religious abuse, issued by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, violate religious freedom, and are unconstitutional. These guidelines were created following the former Prime Minister Abe's shooting. The group seeks to invalidate the guidelines and 2 million yen in damages per person.
Parents are increasingly facing the fourth grade wall. A challenge for children entering fourth grade. Issues include safety concerns for children after school and the high costs of cram schools and lessons. This problem is linked to more dual-income families and insufficient capacity at after-school care clubs, leaving many children unsupervised.
Enrollment in 3-year nursing vocational schools nationwide for 2025 has dropped below 80% of capacity for the first time, the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare announced. This decline, with about 20,000 students, raises concerns about a shortage of young nurses, especially in rural areas. Discussions are now underway to secure more healthcare professionals.
A 58-year-old man was arrested in Oita Prefecture on April 12th, suspected of abandoning a body in the mountains last month. Police are now searching the area based on his statements. This arrest is linked to the disappearance of a teenage girl from Oita Prefecture who has been missing since last month.
An 11-year-old boy has been missing in Nantan City, Kyoto Prefecture, for 20 days. Police have extensively searched the mountainous areas within the city, but no new clues have been found so far. Search operations are ongoing, and authorities are urging the public to provide any information that could help locate the child.
The Supreme Court has rejected the appeal of a 26-year-old defendant accused of murdering his grandparents and brother in Hamamatsu City 4 years ago. This decision means the original sentence of 30 years in prison will now be finalized. The ruling concludes a high-profile family murder case.
Tokyo Electric Power Company Holdings has announced the results of seawater monitoring conducted near the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The monitoring data covers measurements taken on March 24th, 25th, April 7th, and April 8th. These results provide ongoing information regarding environmental safety around the plant.
Typhoon number 4, named Sinlaku, has developed into a very strong typhoon and is currently moving slowly north near the Truk Islands. The Japan Meteorological Agency, the U.S. military's Joint Typhoon Warning Center, and European forecasts are all tracking its path. There is a potential risk that the typhoon could impact Japan.
On April 11th, temperatures rose significantly across Japan. Shizuoka City recorded 30.3 degrees Celsius, marking Honshu's first midsummer day this year. Central Tokyo also saw its first summer day with 28.4 degrees. With temperatures suddenly reaching late June to early July levels, the Japan Weather Association advises taking immediate precautions against heat stroke.
次はビジネス関連のニュースです。
Japan's METI Minister Akazawa Ryosei announced 631.5 billion yen in additional support for Rapidus for fiscal year 2026. Rapidus, aiming for domestic advanced semiconductor production, opened its new R&D base on April 11th. Minister Akazawa vowed to ensure its success. Rapidus President Koike pledged to begin mass production by fiscal year 2027.
At the Liberal Democratic Party convention, Prime Minister Takaichi pledged full effort for policies that might divide national opinion, like economic reforms and strengthening intelligence. She also vowed to lead the party to victory in next spring's unified local elections, stressing her commitment to achieving these goals.
Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi expressed eagerness to propose constitutional amendments. At the LDP convention on April 12th, an action policy was adopted. It aims to establish a parliamentary drafting committee for amendments, targeting a proposal by next year's convention. The policy also includes securing victory in next spring's unified local elections.
Meaty Minister Akazawa announced on April 12 that the ministry will actively provide energy-saving information. This initiative aims to address concerns about energy supply stability. However, the minister clarified that the government will not impose regulations, emphasizing voluntary efforts to encourage efficient energy use.
SoftBank, NEC, Honda, and Sony Group established Japan AI Foundation Model Development on April 12. This new company aims to create domestic AI base models with government support for Japanese businesses. Other major firms and banks also invested, planning to hire 100 AI developers to compete globally.
Discussions among political parties and factions on stable imperial succession will commence next week. The Liberal Democratic Party and Ishin Party propose adopting male heirs from former imperial families to secure the number of royals. However, not all parties agree on this approach, leading to ongoing debate.
The U.S. Consumer Price Index rose 3.3% year-on-year in March, accelerating significantly. It increased 0.9% month-on-month, the largest rise in 4 years. Surging crude oil prices fueled this inflation, dampening expectations for Federal Reserve interest rate cuts. This development impacts President Donald Trump's economic standing.
TEPCO President Kobayakawa stated on April 10 that Kashiwazaki Kariwa nuclear power plant's operation will stabilize summer electricity supply. Unit 6 will generate 10 billion kilowatt-hours annually, covering 4 to 5% of TEPCO's yearly usage. He also noted the need to stabilize prices due to rising fuel costs amid the Middle East situation.
Defense Minister Koizumi suggested Japan should consider domestically producing and possessing attack drones. This idea stems from the need to prepare for new ways of warfare, taking into account situations like Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He emphasized strengthening Japan's defense capabilities through these measures.
The Liberal Democratic Party is calling for a review of the Labor Standards Inspection Office's guidance. This guidance uniformly requests overtime work to be within 45 hours per month. The LDP aims to create a flexible work environment for employees under labor management agreements that include special clauses.
では、スポーツニュースをお伝えします。
Dodgers' Shohei Ohtani hit his 4th home run of the season, his first in 4 games against the Rangers. He recorded 2 hits and 1 RBI. Ohtani also extended his on-base streak to 45 games, setting a new record for the longest by a Japanese player in Major League Baseball.
SoftBank Hawks pitcher Kazuki Sugiyama, last year's save leader, is expected to be out long-term. He was removed from the roster on April 12 due to a left-hand fracture. The team reported that Sugiyama punched the dugout bench with his left hand after the April 11th Fighters game, resulting in the injury.
Mets pitcher Kodai Senga started against the Athletics. He struggled, giving up 7 runs, including 2 home runs, before being pulled from the mound in the 3rd inning. This performance resulted in Senga's 2nd loss of the season.
Astros pitcher Tatsuya Imai is departing the team to undergo medical examinations for right arm fatigue. The 27-year-old rookie, currently in his first major league season, had previously started against the Seattle Mariners on April 10th.
Former 2-division world boxing champion Juan Francisco Estrada suffered 2 fractured ribs on his left side. This injury was revealed on April 12th, the day after his TKO loss to Tenshin Nasukawa in the WBC World Bantamweight title eliminator held on April 11th.
Hideki Matsuyama advanced to the final rounds of the Masters tournament. He is in 16th place at 2 under par after a second-round 70. Rory McIlroy holds a dominant lead, extending his score to 12 under par with a round of 65, creating a 10-shot difference.
White Sox infielder Munetaka Murakami went hitless in 3 at-bats, with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, against the Royals on April 11th. He has recently struggled, recording only 1 hit in his last 20 at-bats. His batting average has dropped to an uncharacteristic .167.
Cubs player Seiya Suzuki, returning from a right knee injury sustained during the World Baseball Classic, made a pinch hit appearance against the Pirates on April 11th. He recorded a hit, marking his 2nd consecutive game with a hit since his return.
Japan national football team player Takefusa Kubo, who plays for Real Sociedad in Spain's first division, returned to league action. He made his comeback after approximately 3 months due to a thigh injury and also recorded an assist.
An ambulance entered the pitch during a J1 League match between Vissel Kobe and Nagoya Grampus on April 11th. Near the end of the second half, Vissel Kobe's goalkeeper Daya Maekawa and defender Matthias Thuler collided near the goal. Both players fell and could not get up.
続いて、国際ニュースです。
U.S.-Iran talks in Pakistan on April 12th ended without agreement. After 21 hours, U.S. Vice President Vance stated Iran rejected conditions, including not pursuing nuclear weapons, calling it bad news. Iran's media reported excessive U.S. demands caused the failure. This jeopardizes a 2-week ceasefire, making the path to ending conflict uncertain.
President Trump announced that mine clearance has begun in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. military confirmed on April 11th that it started preparatory work for removing mines in the strait. 2 U.S. warships have already passed through the area. This action follows heightened tensions in the region.
China's Communist Party announced new economic preferential policies for Taiwan. On April 12th, state news agency Xinhua reported this measure followed a visit by Zheng Liwen, chairperson of Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang. The move is likely intended to boost pro-China public opinion within Taiwan amidst ongoing tensions.
Russia's 32-hour Easter ceasefire, announced by President Putin, began on April 11th. Ukraine's President Zelensky also implemented it. No large-scale violations are reported, but both sides accuse each other of minor breaches. Russia claimed a Ukrainian drone attack injured 3. Ukraine reported continued Russian drone attacks despite artillery stopping.
Hungary's general election began on April 12th. The results are expected to influence the European Union's future, given Hungary's frequent disagreements with the EU. Voting closes at 7 p.m. The main focus is whether Prime Minister Viktor Orban's Fidesz party can win a majority. A new party, TISA, is challenging his 16-year rule.
Lebanon's health ministry announced on April 11th that over 2,000 people have died in Lebanon since fighting between the Israeli army and Iran-backed Hezbollah began on March 2nd. Casualties reached 2,020 deaths, with 6,436 injured and over 1 million displaced. Despite a U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement, conflict continues, worsening the humanitarian crisis.
U.S. intelligence suggests China is preparing to supply Iran with new shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missile systems within weeks. 3 sources familiar with recent intelligence assessments revealed this to CNN. This potential arms transfer could significantly impact the ongoing tensions in the Middle East and global security dynamics.
Zheng Liwen, chairperson of Taiwan's main opposition Kuomintang party, visited China. She met with Beijing's top secretary, expressing hope for more exchanges on historical documents, including those about the war with Japan. This suggests a stance aligning with China on historical recognition, potentially affecting Taiwan's diplomatic relations.
Chinese media reported on April 11th that 53 Japan-China air routes were completely suspended in March. Cancellations for flights from mainland China to Japan hit 49.6%, totaling 2,391. Market observers attribute this to strained diplomatic relations and reduced travel demand, as China has urged citizens to avoid Japan since late 2025 for political reasons.
U.S.-Iran talks in Pakistan ended on April 12 without agreement. U.S. Vice President Vance said Iran showed no intention to develop nuclear weapons. Iranian media cited serious differences over the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's nuclear program. The future of the April 8 ceasefire and path to ending conflict remain unclear.
続いて、文化・芸能ニュースをお伝えします。
Actors Yuto Nakajima and Yuko Araki, both 32, announced their marriage on April 11th. They made the announcement via their agency websites. Nakajima, a former member of Hey, Say, Jump, and Araki, a former model previously co-starred in the 2018 drama Suits, both expressed their commitment to a respectful and grateful future together.
Rapper Now Hirak has passed away. The news was announced on the official Instagram account of Samuel, an apparel brand where he served as a designer. Now Hirak co-founded the brand with A&I from the group Shadarapar. Further details regarding his passing were not immediately provided in the announcement.
Kotaro Tamano, 39, the general director of the popular Fuji TV variety show Honma Deka TV, has left the company. His departure occurred at the end of March. It was reported on April 12th that several employees made sudden exits from Fuji TV this spring, with Tamano's departure being among them.
Shoko Nakagawa, who welcomed twin boys in September 2025, shared her challenging path to motherhood. After marrying at 37, she underwent infertility treatment, experiencing 2 miscarriages before successfully giving birth via in vitro fertilization. Nakagawa announced this new chapter in her life, signifying a fresh start as a mother.
Voice actress Minami Takayama, the voice of Conan, apologized to Kanagawa Prefecture and Yokohama residents. At a stage event for the 29th Detective Conan movie, Detective Conan Highway's Fallen Angel, on April 11th, she said, "I'm sorry. This was because the film depicts a major disaster occurring in Kanagawa Prefecture."
The Demon Slayer Mugen Castle Arc Part 1 movie has ended its domestic run. Aniplex announced on April 10th that it grossed 40.2 billion yen in Japan and 117.9 billion yen worldwide. This marks the second Demon Slayer film to exceed 40 billion yen domestically and the first Japanese movie to surpass 100 billion yen globally.
Former NHK announcer Mayuko Wakuda, 37, will host Nippon TV's new Saturday news program, Suiseki Shuzai Newslog, starting April 25th. Wakuda, who recently went freelance, said she was attracted to the program's unique approach of focusing on the reporting process, not just conclusions.
Demolition began on April 10th for the former Kagawa Prefectural Gymnasium in Takamatsu City. Known as the Ship's Gymnasium, it was designed by renowned architect Kenzo Tange. This demolition proceeds despite a lawsuit by a private group seeking its preservation, completed in 1964. The building is a significant example of post-war modernist architecture, with many expressing regret over its loss.
An unreleased letter sheds new light on the friendship between poets Shiki Masaoka and Natsume Soseki. Shiki recommended a Chinese poem by Soseki, then an unknown writer, to a newspaper's poetry section. However, the letter to the editor reportedly contained merciless words about Soseki's work, despite Shiki privately praising his talent.
A wooden plank from a sunken Mongol ship found off Takashima, Nagasaki, reveals a significant historical clue. Announced April 10th, the plank shows Chinese characters for the Mongol-era name Ziyuan and either 12 or 13. This dates the plank to 1275 or 1276. The discovery further confirms the Mongol invasions, likely from the Koan War.
今日のニュースは以上です。最後までお付き合いいただき、ありがとうございました。おやすみなさい。